Tracey's friend-zoned Cain. What are we gonna do now? We have Adam drumming up more drama via blackmail, and Lola, she's determined to figure out more about Kyle's past in New York City. Stay tuned as we discuss this week's The Young and the Restless.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, I'm Rachel Goodman and I'm back after my exotic vacation in, drumroll please, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Not that exotic, but I wanted to announce it that way. Farah, thanks for being here.
Hi guys, I'm Farah Besharat and I'm coming back from nowhere. I didn't go anywhere special. I've been in LA.
Yeah, that used to be, I just spent, for anybody who didn't know, I literally just spent 2 weeks going back home, which for me was Pennsylvania, and we used to think of LA as being this exotic place.
Ooh,
so
and now you live here.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's no Genoa City, but
no, not at all. I mean, what can we do without Crimson Lights?
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have had a very crazy week here. Before we dive in and get into all the juicy drama that's been going on in Genoa City, I just want to give a shout out to everybody we have in the chat. We have Maxwell Comics, Hubby Joe, Kenneth Clark, Aaron Brody, Susan Russo, Doolaman. We have Todd Beaton, and I am scrolling here. Candace Mack is here. Hey, Candace. And let me make sure I did not forget anybody because we have a ton of people and they're all talking about my exotic vacation. So that's kind of why I mentioned Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania and then Massachusetts. And now I'm back here. So we had two comments I wanted to point out too that were going on when we were getting ready to start the show today. Aaron Brody, how is Chelsea even walking around town? She's supposed to be in handcuffs. And honestly, when Aaron made this comment, I was like, yeah, he makes a very valid point. Mm-hmm. When we saw Chelsea last, she had been basically siphoning money and taking it away from the Fenmore website, mm-hmm. and kind of like working her magic and doing what she was doing was completely illegal, and mm-hmm. everybody kind of knew about it, and that's why she left town. So I'm just surprised that it's going this smoothly with her being back.
Yeah, not to mention she pushed Sharon down the stairs and knocked her unconscious. So.
Yeah. We all know. We haven't seen it yet, but I can just feel how bitter Sharon is going to be.
Oh, of course. We're all anticipating the confrontation, which I think is going to be really exciting to see.
And I think what kind of burns me too, since we're talking about Chelsea now, is this idea that I feel like she's going to walk back in and then eventually she'll get back with Nick, mm-hmm. and then it'll be like nothing happened and they'll be back together. And I didn't like them as a couple.
I didn't like them either, and I don't like how she was just like accepted by the Newman family again. She went to that Newman family dinner as if she's like in a relationship with Nick again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
She's kind of staying with him. I'm not going to say living, staying with him. And I don't know, like, we'll kind of get into this more as we get to that family dinner. But just since we're kind of talking about it now, I almost wonder if the Victor we're seeing is completely not Victor just because of his mental condition.
You're right. He's being a little bit nicer than usual, right?
Yeah.
And maybe the real Victor or the healthy Victor wouldn't be so accepting of Chelsea.
Probably a lot angrier, probably gonna call her out on things, mm-hmm. but this one really, like, once she agreed to letting him see his grandson, he was okay with her.
Yeah.
And I just feel like now, Nikki even kind of made a comment to Jack about how they're now in like the golden years of their lives, and so things that they thought were things that they may not have realized were important in their youth is now coming to the surface.
Yeah.
And when you could lose somebody, it kind of makes you realize life's too short. And I kind of think that now this is really Victor's wake-up call. So maybe he's like bearing the hatchet with certain people because he just can't bear the idea of holding a grudge when he knows he might not be around anybody. Anyway.
Yeah, and he might die.
Yeah,
exactly. Say it, but.
And I think that's the idea with everybody with him right now is that he's making amends with the people that he can before he can't do that anymore.
Right.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. We had another comment here from Doolaman. I just wanted to mention, he says, I hope they bring back Nina with all this talk about Chance.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. That would make sense.
I
haven't heard about her, the actress, or anyone in years. I wonder what's going on with her.
I don't know. When everything with Chance was coming to the surface, I did Google him, and there are rumors, nothing confirmed, that Chance is coming back.
Okay. So I would assume so. I don't think they would make such a fuss about the character and not bring him back.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the sound bites.
But it makes complete sense. We haven't seen him since about 2011. So it's just, it makes sense now that he's becoming such a big part of the storyline that we will see him, probably recast is my guess. But just the fact that I'm interested to see what this Chance is going to be like. Because for him to be this man that everybody's describing him as, it doesn't seem to fit the character.
Not if he is in some way, related to Adam. You know?
Yeah.
Having some kind of relationship, whatever it be, you know?
Exactly. I agree with you. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I feel like the biggest thing for us to really discuss this week is everything going on with Adam. Yeah, we'll definitely touch on Chance more. But at the start of the week, we got to see Chelsea's interactions with Nick more. And we got to see basically how Nick's reacting to Chelsea. I don't even want to call her 2.0, but like this version, just Chelsea being back in his life, and then Adam dealing with it. And I know last week when I watched the show, you guys had touched on some of what was going on with Adam, but I kind of wanted to dive in a little bit more too today and just discuss how you feel this dynamic with Nick and Chelsea and Adam's going to play out.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about the fact that Chelsea's husband just died.
Yeah.
And she seemed to care more about being accused of the murder or not the murder, of his death, than like why he died in the first place and the fact that he died in the first place. Yeah. Like she just showed no concern, which I thought was odd. Yeah. Like a woman that just loses her husband should show some kind of grief towards the death of her husband, and I just don't see that at all.
Yeah.
It seems that there's a transition between, her husband dying and now her moving in with Nick. So obviously that's where the storyline is leading, to them getting together. And the fact that Adam tried to basically have her be the culprit of the murder and like go to Paul and accuse her of killing her husband just shows to me that maybe he is finally giving her up and giving up on the dream that maybe they could be together. What do you think about that?
So my impression was that he did this to basically tell her, you're going to do things the way I want you to do them, and it's my way or the highway, and I'm going to get you no matter what to come back with me. And I think that the reason why he would have tried to implicate her in this murder is because he knew that even if she was convicted, he could work the system and get her out, or do something to kind of prevent it from going that far. I just feel like he had another ulterior motive for doing what he did, and I don't think it was as direct as what everybody is thinking at this point.
Okay.
Because I think that no matter what, I think that Chelsea is his weak spot. I think she always will be. I don't think it's Sharon, even though I think he does kind of care for Sharon in a different way. But I think that Chelsea has this power over him that nobody else has.
But then she said to him, she's like, how can I fall in love with someone who tried to blame me for the death of my husband?
And I agree with that. I think that it makes sense that she would not want to get back with Adam.
Who would want to get back with someone who tries to put them as the cause of their husband's death?
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think that I especially loved that confrontation when Chelsea went back to the penthouse to talk to him and pretty much put him in his place. But then he tried to take, this very arrogant stand with, okay, well, next time don't even show up. Like, I don't need you anymore. Yeah. After he just told her that she was the one person who brought out the goodness in him.
Yeah.
And I loved what she said about how he needed to bring out the goodness in himself first.
Yes.
No one else could be responsible for that or should be responsible for it. He needed to be the person to step up and say, okay, I need to act this way so I can be with Chelsea, or just act a certain way just so that he's a good person, not for any other motivation.
Right, I agree with you, but it's just funny how she's kind of being the voice of reason when, like, we were talking about, like, everything that she did before she left.
Yeah, exactly. And she's, one of the characters, I forget who exactly, made a comment that we can't really trust Chelsea either. And I think it was said to Nick. And I agree with that. I think that Chelsea, I don't think she's as bad as Adam, but I think that she does things. She's always going to be sneaky and do things and lie. And I don't think that she's a trustworthy partner. And so I just feel like Adam would be, in a way, a good person for her to be with, even though I get why she would say no thank you, because considering what he just did to her. But I understand where she's come. I understand, I think that their pairing would make both of them better together, or it could bring out the worst side in both of them. So.
I think that's where, the confrontation next week between Sharon and Chelsea is going to open the doors for us to see more of her not so good side.
Yeah, that makes sense. We have some comments in the chat. I'm just going to go ahead and read some of these. Aaron Brody, Chelsea should be... Oh, no, I already read that one. Kenneth Clark, Rachel and Farah, looking amazing as always. Had to read that one. Thank you,
Clark.
Kenneth.
Keep them coming, yes.
Thank you, Kenneth. We are here for those comments.
We are. All day, honey.
We have AfterBuzz TV, our very own, is giving a shout out to Hubby Joe in the chat.
We love you, Hubby Joe.
We have Doolaman, Chelsea not wanting Adam makes absolutely no sense. Just from what I've seen in the past and from what I remember, I would think that Chelsea would have had a bigger, more of a reaction to Adam, and might have been harder for her. But I get it. She doesn't want to be with somebody who's gonna do that to her and treat her that way. Candace Mack says, well, Chelsea and her dead hubby didn't really have a romantic relationship in the first place. And that's how I took it, is that it was never this, Chelsea married him for reasons of convenience, not for love. And I don't even feel like she's mourning somebody. I feel like anything, it's more like she's back with Nick, not back with him, but she's trying to figure out how she feels about Nick versus Adam. But I don't think that's even really a question.
No, she's in the Nick pool all the way.
Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of whether she's going to end up with Nick or Adam. But I don't think she cares about her husband being gone.
She does not care.
A couple more comments and then we'll, jump ahead here. Candace Mack also says, my thing is, Adam gave up all of his parental rights away to Nick, so now all of a sudden he wants his child back. Nick should be mad as hell about Chelsea. Yeah, so that's two things, is that I don't understand, at the very last moment, that's when the reveal was that Nick was texting Chelsea and that he knew where she was, right before all of this with Adam came out. So I don't get that. I agree with Candace. Nick should be very mad. But then on top of that, what I heard from you guys talking about it last week too, is that with Adam, it was almost like, I think Walker said this, that it was almost like rehashing what has already been done, and then everybody was in a good place.
Yeah.
And now it's bringing back up all these wounds, especially the parental rights with Adam.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of gets me, is that we have all of this going on with blackmailing of the judge and involving Kevin, and I don't really, even when we saw Adam with Christian this week, it didn't seem like he really loved him.
No. I've said this from the beginning, and I still feel this way. I feel like his children are like possessions to him.
Yeah.
I think he's a narcissist, and I don't think he's capable of love, and I think everything and anyone is just a means to an end for him, and he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I agree. And I think whatever happened after the explosion and being in Las Vegas, I think that's triggered certain things. And
yeah.
That could explain it to me, why suddenly he wants this child again. Why he wants both children. But it seems like a really, I just don't, his reasoning for wanting his kids, it just doesn't, sit well with me, because of the fact that, I don't even sense, okay, let's say that he wins and he gets Nick's child. I'm calling him Nick's child because in my mind he is.
Yeah, I think in most people's mind.
Yeah. If he gets the child, then that poor child is just going to go through a lot of neglect and abuse, and
Right.
then it's, he's pretty much just going to put him in daycare and say goodbye.
Yeah, he doesn't even seem to have, like, this paternal instinct at all. Yeah. He doesn't seem fatherly. He doesn't seem nurturing. Like, just let Nick keep the baby and you go do whatever you want to do to make you happy. Like, just don't bring this innocent child into your evil lifestyle.
Yeah. We saw this week when Sharon was in the park with the kids and Faith came back from camp. We saw that Adam basically said, hey, let's, to Christian, let's go get some ice cream. And then Nick was like, obviously, first of all, it was hilarious that Christian was like, no. And he wasn't even looking at Nick.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, it was like, Nick said, yeah, well, we need to, obviously, Uncle Adam doesn't know that we need to eat dinner first.
Yeah.
And Adam's like, well, we could break the rules. Right. So he's going to be parent of the year here.
Yeah, like giving his child ice cream before he gives him his vegetables and chicken. Yeah,
I can just see it now. It's going to be pizza all day, every day. Yeah, exactly. A couple more comments and then we'll move on here. We have Aaron Brody. We have a lot of conversation going on here. So they're all talking. They're all kind of agreeing with Nick forgiving Chelsea way too fast. Aaron Brody, I bet Nick will propose marriage to Chelsea next week just to watch.
I cannot.
That would be hilarious, but also I'm with you. I think that could happen. They even hinted at it at that family dinner.
It's too much.
Duleman, and where is Chloe? Are we just done with her now? I think so. We haven't seen too much of her. And then we also have Candace Mack. I feel like, and I have been a fan of the character Adam, but the writer has memory loss because Adam grew up and him and Chelsea were happy. So, yeah, they're not pulling on the history a lot here. And I think that's the biggest issue with how they're writing Adam into this. Yeah. Not that I think he should have been manipulative and bad, but I feel like they could have brought a little more depth to the character.
Absolutely.
If they had played out the memory loss thing and maybe played into him being, like, maybe having this darkness inside of him and struggling with his memories. Yeah. And struggling with, this is, just to kind of compare this, because I also watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they're doing something very similar, kind of similar, with a character who was good, and now, like, after... Basically, he's, like, a dark character now, and he's not the same person that he was. They could have done this with Adam had him kind of remember his dark side with the good and, like, had him really struggle with that. And that could have allowed for him to be kind of the villain on the show, but also have us sort of love to hate him.
I totally get and agree with what you're saying. I think the beauty of having a villain on a series or a show or whatever is that you somehow know that deep inside of them, they have this trauma that they've dealt with, right? Yeah. That's kind of forced them to have this tough exterior, this facade that people really need to, like, bang and to drop. But with Adam, there is no facade. It's just like there's no depth and like there's nothing for us to get to know. There's nothing for us to love or to relate to. And I feel like that's kind of what's missing with the writing is that the audience can't, like, I want to relate to him. I want to love him. I want to understand that he's going through pain and we just like have to help him get through his suffering in order for him to be a good person. But I just don't see that. And it's actually like kind of upsetting because I want to be able to relate to him, you know?
And I think in the beginning when he was struggling with his memory, we were getting a lot of that because he did seem like a person who was trying to be good.
Yes, you're right.
But then as soon as he got his memories back, he went from, okay, I feel like there's a darkness to him that could come out to suddenly, oh, here's the darkness. I can't understand what he's doing anymore.
It was like 0 to 60 really fast.
Exactly.
It was like driving a Ferrari.
Yeah, it and that's, I think, why I have mixed feelings on what he's doing at this point. But before, we should probably, we could probably spend the whole entire show just talking about Adam, I think.
Yeah.
But for time's sake, why don't we move on and talk about, another topic. Sure. And maybe at the end we can get back to this with predictions.
Let's do it.
Before we do that, though, we definitely have an announcement we'd like to make to all of our viewers.
Yeah, we always just want to thank you guys for helping make us the ESPN of TV Talk. We always appreciate all of your support. If you guys are on YouTube, please like us and subscribe to our channel. channel. If you are on iTunes, please give us 5 stars and keep the comments coming. We love hearing your feedback. We love hearing what you have to say. And if you do, let us know and we will give you a personal shout out on air. We love talking to you guys, so keep the comments coming.
Absolutely. We love when you guys are reaching out and commenting. It is the best part of doing this show.
It really is.
So definitely, absolutely, we'd love to hear your feedback. And we also, I mention this at the start of the show. If you do want to talk about The Young and the Restless during the week, and you know, obviously we're only on once a week, but if it's like a random Wednesday and you want to talk about Y&R with us, at Restless Rap, that's RestlessWrap, at Restless Rap on Facebook. That's where we kind of have this page going on, and we have, you know, people are very active commenting, so I will always read your comments, I will always respond, and I'll read your comments live on the air. So definitely go over and like and follow that page, and also we post the link to the show there, so that if you do, you know, if you happen to not be able to find it, you'll find it there. Let's jump into Cain and Tracy, because I have a lot to say about this.
I know you do.
Yes. And, you know, when I was listening to last week's show, I know that the general opinion seemed to be that Tracy was very motherly, and that's why it kind of made it less appealing for viewers to watch this with, you know, whereas if it had been Ashley, everybody would be all for Cain and Ashley because of the sex appeal and all of that. I am just going to skip to the very end and talk about how Tracy friendzoned Cain and just kind of go over what I think happened like with her, you know, what she was going through, and what I didn't really see before is how much pain she's really in.
I know. She brought up Colleen.
Yeah.
So sad.
And her husband leaving her.
And then her husband leaving her. Poor lady.
Yeah. And then dealing with her mother. She is one of those people, and I didn't realize it until this moment. I just assumed she was generally a happy person because the way that she is, she's always smiling. She always seems upbeat.
She's so sweet. She's like the definition of a mother. Yeah. Like, a mother could be going through hell, but for the sake of her children, she just puts on a smiley face and is happy. But she clearly is going through a lot.
And I feel like with Cain, he was very much like, even though he did sort of directly say it in the end about wanting to see where things went with her, but I think Tracy tried to blame it on it all being about a book and how any feelings they could have for each other weren't real. It was because she had put him into this novel. And while I don't think that that's true, I think that they both have genuine feelings for each other. I think that what I realized in that moment when Tracy was saying to Cain, all these people, I've been hurt. And I love the line that she just literally says, and then, leaving it open to, like, you know, basically all of the hurt I've had in my life. And this is why I'm very closed off. And Cain called it and knew it. And it was like an epiphany I had about her character and about what she does. And at this point, she is just closed off because she can't be hurt anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that. Yes.
Yes.
That in addition to, you know what I'm going to say.
About the fans?
About the fans and how against the storyline they were, and how they just, like, the writers were just like, oh, we probably have to put a stop to this because the fans just aren't for it.
Yeah. And I mean, I get that. But I also remember when the fans weren't for Tessa or Mariah. Yeah. And there was a big thing about how they didn't want it to happen, and the writers did it anyway. They were like, whatever, it's happening. So, I mean, I don't know. That could just be...
Which, by the way, last week we were talking about Tessa and Mariah and how, like... Well, this wasn't my opinion, but James was talking about how he thinks they're boring. I think if they have more love scenes...
I remember you said that. Yeah.
The first love scene was, like... I was, like, all for it. Like, it was good.
I do not think that they're boring personally.
I don't think they're boring either.
No, I enjoy their storyline. I really
enjoy their storyline. Yeah. They're, like, so passionate and loving, and, like, just supportive of one another. They're just like every healthy relationship that anyone could just want to have.
And they still have, like, even though the relationship itself, after so many things that have gone wrong between them, even though they're in a good place, there's still drama around them,
of course.
So it isn't like they're just this boring people, like two people who just don't do anything. Like, there's drama around them, but it doesn't. That's the thing with
most other relationships.
Yeah, is that
on Y&R
sometimes, and you know, Y&R is the soap that I watch. So from my experience watching Y&R, I don't know how other soaps handle it. With Y&R, I've just noticed that every relationship has to have a problem. And in my opinion, it doesn't... You can create drama without having a relationship drama. Yeah, and it does tend to get old if it keeps happening. Yeah. So it's like, okay, Tessa and Mariah, they're in a good place. Things do happen. It's not necessarily because of the relationship, though it might affect the relationship in you know, a different kind of way. But it's not breaking them up.
Yeah, and I like to see that because, like, even in real life, like, relationships, there's always issues. Relationships are work. Yeah. So it's good to see that they have their trials and tribulations, but they're capable of overcoming them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I like to see is that, so, I mean, obviously sometimes, like, there are certain couples, they're going to break up. That's life too. But to see certain people sticking it out, like, even Nikki and Victor at this point, I think that is a testament of long-term couple goals, despite everything.
Despite their 5,000 makeup and breakups.
Yeah, exactly.
They eventually got back together.
Yeah. But with Tracey and Cain, that's really, like, you know, what it boils down to is, at least the way that they've written it in at this point, is that she just seems like she's too hurt, and he would have been ready to give it a try, but she was not in that place. Mm-hmm. I hope that they revisit this and that it isn't the end. But like you said, with the fan feedback,
I don't see them revisiting it.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We had a lot of people revisiting trauma too, talking about revisiting, like with Billy and Delia.
Oh my goodness!
What do you think that is?
That storyline is like really interesting to me.
Yeah,
because who wrote that on the wall? Yeah. And where does this doll come from?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Now, my thought is, I would not be against it if it really was, like, the spirit of Delia, or, like, if it...
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be something I don't think Y&R... Well, they kind of did with...
Hillary.
Well, yeah, but they also did it with Jack and his father. Like, Jack would talk to his dad's spirit. Remember?
Yeah. Something tells me it's not. Something tells me that
someone's messing with him. We just need to...
I bet it's Adam.
You think so?
I bet it's Adam, yeah. Ugh. Yeah, because after what we've seen with him so far, I just feel like this wouldn't be beyond him.
Oh, totally wouldn't be beyond him.
I think it's him.
Definitely capable of it.
Or, I mean, I don't know who else it would be, though, who would really be that sick that they would mess with him by making it look like Delia was around.
But it's, like, so sad. It's like, you already killed this poor man's child. Yeah. Like, you're gonna mess with his psyche, too?
Yeah.
That's, like, a lot.
That is a lot, but, you know, I'm sure there's a reason. Not that there's a good reason for that, but I'm sure that in Adam's mind, he has a reason for doing this. Even if it's, like, I don't know, this is just, like, spitballing here, but what if he's thinking, oh, well, you know, I blame Billy for me getting my memories back, and so now I'm gonna mess with him. I don't know. That might not be it at all, but...
It's a little far-fetched.
Yeah, but you never know. I don't know that it would be Delia.
Well, I'm excited to see who it is. It's like a little mystery.
It is. Right? Or is it not happening? Well, it wasn't like Billy's the only one seeing this, though. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I would say that Billy's
not the only one seeing it, right? Because we saw like a preview of him and Kevin talking about it.
And they both saw the writing. Otherwise, I would say that Billy's having a break, like a mental break. Yeah. And you know what? It could be that he's still having a mental break and that he's having these nightmares, and maybe Kevin really wasn't involved, but it's like a whole thing that's going on in his mind. Maxwell Comics says, bruh, Billy and Delia, why are they going over this? We already know Adam killed her, and it was an accident. So why would she, her ghost right at him? Well, good point. I don't know. Doolaman, it's Esther. She finally cracked completely. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah. Let's talk about Devon. Speaking of, ghosts.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He finally is in a good place with Elena now.
Yeah, they're going to move in with each other.
Yeah, they're going to move in with each other.
Can I just say,
yeah,
that if relationships moved as fast in real life as they do on The Young and the Restless, I would be married 10 times by now. I kind of wish they did move a little faster in real life.
Yeah, there needs to be a click.
There needs to be a balance.
Yeah, exactly. I think before we get to our long moment and predictions, we should talk about the family dinner. Speaking of relationships that are moving quickly, since they referenced, just even in that moment, they referenced how the last time that Chelsea was involved in this,
they were engaged.
Yeah. So let's just kind of talk about this family dinner, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
So, family dinner, we saw that, first of all, Adam crashed it.
Of course.
Yeah, naturally.
Adam and Phyllis together. They're becoming quite the duo.
Yeah, and then we had a little scene with Summer, and what we really didn't get to talk about either, which is kind of an aside, is
Phyllis and Summer's relationship?
Their relationship, and then also Summer and Theo.
Oh, we didn't get to talk
Lola.
About that.
So we should,
we need more time.
Yeah, we do. Well, I guess did you have anything you wanted to add about the family dinner?
Victor.
Yeah, Victor. Yeah, just everything. I think it was, all of a sudden he was like, thank you all for coming today.
So sad.
I didn't even catch it at first.
I didn't catch it either. I had to rewind.
Huh? And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then I realized, I was like, okay, no, something's wrong.
Something's up.
Because we hadn't really seen him, acting oddly yet.
No, not on Friday's episode. That was the first time.
Yeah, and poor Abby. First she had Dina on the Abbott side.
Her
and now,
grandmother.
Yeah. Because I almost feel they said that it's going to affect his mental capacity, but it almost seems like it's going to be similar to dementia.
It does seem like that.
Yeah.
It's really scary. I hope they figure something out and cure him.
Yeah, because that would just be a lot to,
It'd be a lot for the YNR viewers, and I don't think we're ready yet.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know that we said that would be the last thing, but let's talk about Theo and Lola really fast.
Okay.
And then we'll get to our law moment.
Okay. Theo and Lola. Okay, the New York situation, right?
And everything. Okay, so first of all, what could Kyle have done that was
I'm assuming drugs.
That's what a lot
of partying and a lot of having sex.
Yeah, I honestly think that Kyle should have just told Lola, this is what I did. I'm sorry. Yes, I was, a jerk. I was not the guy that you probably would have wanted to be with. But if he had just told her the full truth.
Yeah. He could be like, we all have a past.
Yeah.
Let's move on. I'm a good guy now.
I was assuming drugs too, but I almost think that maybe Theo is trying to play. I think Theo wants Lola and Kyle to break up because he wants to manipulate Kyle into getting him back into partying.
Yeah.
So I feel like Theo probably made it sound worse to Lola than what was really going on, number one.
Okay.
But then two, even if he wasn't, I feel like even though we all choose what we do, like Kyle said to Summer, Theo has a way of roping people in and basically getting them on this train and getting them to do more partying and more negative things. Kind of like they say that people who are in a really dark, bad place, they want people to join them because misery is company. Yeah. So I feel like that's the sort of situation, and that maybe, obviously Kyle got involved with it, so it's his fault if you want to say fault in that situation. Yeah. But I just feel like Theo was really the mastermind behind it and really, kind of kept Kyle coming back for more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Theo's not a good influence. Kyle is clearly at this point aware of it because he's warning Summer of it. Yeah. So I don't think Lola has anything to worry about.
Yeah. I don't think so either, but I think that Theo will probably try and add,
make it seem like it's worse than it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get to our law moment.
Okay. Our producer remembered the soundbite this
yes,
time.
Thank you. So go ahead. What was yours?
My little moment was when Kevin and Michael were fighting over the phone, and it was just like a really sweet, cute, funny, brotherly moment because Kevin kind of jumped up on Michael's back, and Michael was trying to be like the big brother supporter and trying to protect Kevin. I thought that was funny and cute.
Yeah, me too. I liked that moment.
Yeah.
My law moment was Cain when he showed up as his character and he was talking. Yes, me too. And he was talking like in that gangsta accent, and it was just very hilarious. When he said you'll be excited how I dress up, I was like, okay, he's coming back as the character. But it was just really cool to see them both playing.
It was
their
very
characters.
cute. Yeah.
So on that note, let's get to our predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
You go first.
Okay. I think that I am gonna hold out hope for Tracey and Cain. That's my first prediction, that it's coming back. That's my first thing. Two, I don't think Victor's going anywhere. I think he's going to end up fighting whatever this is, and it's not going to go in the direction of dementia or anything. He'll be okay. And I think Jack, we didn't talk much about him.
I was just going to talk about him.
Yeah, I feel like what's missing, he's in a funk because he's
not
lonely.
in a relationship.
Yeah.
But can I take over?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
All you.
So I think they're going to bring Jack and Phyllis together, and I'll tell you why. Because Jack was talking to Ashley about how he is in a funk, and literally as he finished his statement, the next scene was Phyllis. So I definitely think they're going to bring Phyllis and Jack together. What do you think? Would you agree with that?
I could see that happening. The other person, this is coming actually from Walker, from what he said last time. I feel like Celeste would be somebody they'd
Celeste would be really good too.
But I feel like it's definitely going to happen with somebody, like, because Jack is, I feel like they're teasing us. They teased us with Mallory for exactly that purpose. Yeah. Because they're teasing that he's lonely. He wants somebody.
Yeah. But yeah, maybe Jack will go from being lonely to having Celeste and Phyllis.
Ooh. That would be some drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know about, like, I could see it happening with Phyllis, but I just feel like she would not be in the right place to be good to him. So I don't trust that.
Got it.
Yeah, but I could see it happening as a prediction. But well, did you have any other predictions you wanted to mention, or was that the big one?
So I'm excited to see the Chelsea and Sharon confrontation.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be great. And then that's it. I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Well, Farah, where can everybody find you?
Everyone can find me on Instagram at Farah_Naz. That's N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, Z as in Zebra, _B. Thanks, guys.
And I'm Rachel Goodman. Everybody can find me on Twitter at Rach Goodman or on Instagram at Rachel Radner Author. I'm also on Facebook. I have my Rachel Radner's author page and author group, so you can find me at Rachel Radner there. If you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I will be on the S.H.I.E.L.D. panel with AfterBuzz tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. We will see you next time.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.